What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Keeping It Real podcast, where every week we talk all things movies and TV. I'm your host, James, and I'm here today with Calvin and Jack. We're back this week with the second episode of Marvel's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, titled The Star-Spangled Man. As John Walker is introduced to the world as the new Captain America, Sam and Bucky team up against the rebel group known as the Flag Smashers. So, guys, what do we think of this second episode?
In a word, in two, it was fucking sick.
Unreal.
Yeah, they've already gone away, which I didn't think they were going to do, to be honest. I thought John Walker was going to be more of just like a spiritual obstacle. Like they weren't going to have much interaction with him. They've already had like 10 times more interaction with him in this one episode than I thought they were ever going to have. And I thought, for some reason, Wyatt Russell looked a lot better this time. In like only an episode's time, he looks more like he looks quite.
Seeing him outside of the helmet and and then back into it, it's sort of like I was like, oh, I can see him now. I really did. It really didn't look like him in that first episode.
No, it really didn't. And like, I thought he's pretty good so far. Like, I still don't think he's going to be a proper villain. I think he's just going to be like just a constant obstacle for them, but not in
foil.
Yeah.
I think it's a testament to his performance, how unlikable he is already.
Yeah, which is weird because in the first like 10 minutes of the episode, I was like, oh, actually, he seems like a really nice man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's doing it for the right reasons. You know, he seems really nice. But then as he interacts with the other two more, I'm because I'm so one-sided, I'm like, fuck you, John Walker.
Yeah, when we're first introduced to him, he is grappling with the weight and the responsibility of carrying that shield, and then by the end, you're like, oh no, you really are arrogant. You think you deserve this. Calvin, what did you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode so far. I think it's delivering on some of Marvel's best content for me. It's so fleshed out. Everyone feels like a real character.
Yeah,
and especially I think they did an amazing job with John Walker in this episode. Like, I really liked that you had this moment with him before in the locker room before he goes out and acts up and in front of the crowd to be this new symbol. I just thought Wyatt Russell played him brilliantly in both of these scenes. He seems to be able to play him as this sort of nice guy who just essentially, like you said, just wants to do a good job and is struggling with the weight of the responsibility. But there seems to be like the way Wyatt Russell looks, there seems to be like a veil slipping almost constantly. Like he's got something going under the surface that obviously later on in the episode we do see. I think they did an amazing job to end episode 1 with that wink, which instantly makes everyone hate him. Like, oh, you're Captain America, and you just winked at us, and now you're gone and you look awful. But then I loved that straight off the bat in episode 2, they made like such great strides to humanize him. And I just think they did a great job with that. And I also like that he when he's speaking with his friend, Battlestar. I liked that he's questioning the pompous parades and so on, because they're getting in the way of the job, showing that he's more of a soldier than he is a poster boy. But yeah, I quite like those about him. But obviously later on we do see that he's more arrogant. And I really like that this episode is still going with the character study angle. Like, it hasn't been abandoned. There was a bit more action, but still there was loads of still character study involved, which I think should be the tone for the rest of the show.
Yeah, it really doubled down on having those personal moments, which I was glad, because there was more action in this, but we didn't lose what I think made the first episode what it was.
Yeah. And John Walker, the way they introduced him, like I thought possibly, like we all thought, he was just going to be a foil, just going to be a bit in the way. But so far, in like one episode, they've managed to flesh the character out so much where he has genuine depth. If he does become a villain in the future, he's still, or even if he becomes like more of a hero, I don't know. But he seems like he's a fully fledged character already, which I actually really like him. I like him as a character. I obviously don't like him for the same reasons everyone else does. Like, you're not like Captain America, but I just think he's played brilliantly by Wyatt Russell, because I was quite skeptical when he was initially cast, because I've heard that Wyatt Russell initially auditioned for Captain America That's something I found out the other day. Yeah, which is really funny.
Yeah. I like how they really set him apart. His version of Captain America, they do set him apart from Steve's as well. Just in the action, with him using a gun.
Oh yeah, I really
that
like
immediately just sets off a trigger in your mind. Like, oh, okay, he's really a different person.
I like the angle in this as well, that he doesn't have any powers.
Does he? Right? Does he? Yeah. Does he not at all? I was very confused about that because he did struggle to pull himself up on the truck.
He doesn't have any powers.
How can you control that shield in that way?
I think
Hawkeye does it once.
Does he?
You just in one of the Avengers films, can't remember which one, but it's just that I think you just got
to go with it. Yeah.
The shield is the shield, but I like the implications of where that could go for the story, and I've got a big theory which I'll save for later on in the review.
Okay.
But I would like them to explore why he doesn't have powers. Like, why hasn't the government given powers? Do the government not have any hold of super soldier serum, or are they trying to make him prove himself? Like, I'd like to know more about why he hasn't been given the same things as Steve, because we see later on in the episode they have used it before.
Yeah.
And I think the angle of the show now is going to be what the government, all the government's dirty secrets and what they've done to people over the years.
Yeah, I think at some point or another he will get his hands on some.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the way it's going.
We
finally go on.
I was kind of thinking, like either him, maybe they'll go down the route if he gets super soldier serum, or maybe Sam will get it, which will make him feel. I don't think they will do this, but like maybe the super soldier serum would make him feel more worthy of being Captain America.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Sam will get it. I definitely have a feeling that
I think
John Walker will get his hands on some though.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards that. But I think it's a possibility.
Yeah, but I think they give John Walker the super soldier serum, but they won't just give Sam the super soldier serum. If they give John Walker the super soldier serum, and if Sam is going to get it, they'll both have it, and then there'll be this crazy showdown. I don't think they'll just give Sam it and not John Walker. I think it'll be both of them or just John Walker, which I think is the more likely of the three options.
It's actually really hard to say super
soldier serum. Sam gets the super soldier serum.
Yeah, it's really. I kept stumbling over it. And I was like mouthing along when Calvin was saying it, and I was going like, blah, blah, blah.
Super soldier serum.
just gets the stuff. He just gets the stuff.
The stuff.
Yeah, the stuff. The magic juice.
What we didn't get any of in the first episode was any Bucky and Sam interaction. We get that pretty much straight away in this. Bucky finds Sam. He's understandably angry with Sam for giving away the shield.
Yeah.
We find out later, which I thought was a good angle. He's angry at Sam because if Steve's faith was misplaced in him, then maybe it is also misplaced in Bucky, of Steve's hope that Bucky can return to a normal life and get away from his history as the Winter Soldier, which I thought was a really interesting angle.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. I think with those meeting, though, they went for the banter a bit too much. Some of the it didn't work for me. It seemed too antagonistic, like two.
I've got that written down here.
Yeah, like it didn't feel like genuine friends. It seemed like they actually really hate each other. But I wanted more of a. Yeah, the way it was delivered felt very, antagonistic.
Yeah,
felt that they were never going to become friends in any way. It just felt like they actually hated each other's guts to the point where it wasn't even funny.
Yeah, I get the impression they're both putting up this wall from each other that, I mean, obviously it will come down at some point or another. The therapy scene was really good. So they agreed to do this one last mission, but then we'll never see each other again, which I think that'll change. Yeah.
What about
the way these things go?
Avengers barbecue.
When they all try and
I'll see you there, but you know.
Yeah, I'll see you there, but I'm not seeing you in my free time. I'll see you at the jamboree.
Yeah, everyone tries to lift Mjolnir. Who's gonna be next?
Yeah.
So the other villains in this show are the Flag Smashers, and we get a bit more context on them and how the outside world is feeling about them. They get taken in by these people who are like, you're doing a good thing here. So I think I'm not sure what the show is actually trying to say about them yet.
Yeah, not yet.
I do feel like by the end of this, it will be switched and we will see it from their perspective, perhaps.
Yeah, I liked the angle they introduced them with the cool fights on the trucks, like Mission Impossible style.
Red Wing's gone already.
Yeah, he's dead.
I knew it.
But yeah, I liked showing what they're capable of. I'm sure none of us were surprised that there were super soldiers. But I'm quite interested to how they are super soldiers, because did they steal it? Or I'm thinking more down the lines of their whole mantra seems to be they want to protect people who've been left behind from the blip.
Yeah.
So I was kind of thinking that later on in the episode, we see them in an airfield trying to deliver what I thought was super soldier serum, but it's actually medical supplies.
Yeah.
So that obviously straight away, that's a goal that's not hard for us as an audience to sympathize with. And the people who attack them, I've learned since, are called the Power Broker Inc., but I don't know much about them. But
Yeah,
they're probably the people who she got the text message off.
Yeah.
But I quite like to think of it. I quite like the show to go down the line of them having super soldier powers because of this corporation who might have been experimenting, trying to make new ones.
Yeah.
And these people who were in the Flag Smashers are people who were left behind by the blip, and this corporation is preying on those people to use because they essentially have nowhere in life. So they're using them for their experiments to create. Yeah, that I don't know. I don't think that'd be a quite interesting angle, and it would make their motivations clear.
Yeah. What I thought was the most interesting aspect of this show was the introduction and sort of revelation of Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah, that comes back to why I think there'll be a lot of unearthing of experiments going on by all these people.
Yeah, exactly. So we find out that after Steve went in the ice, there was a second Captain America, basically, a black super soldier who actually came to blows with Bucky in 1951. And he reveals that, he took half his arm. Like, you've grown it back. Yeah, so I think this was the biggest moment of this episode, especially for Sam as a character, because it, again, adds on to the theme of Sam doesn't feel he should represent this symbol that doesn't represent him. Because we had this black Captain America that after his missions was incarcerated for 30 years and no one knew about him. But instead we got pushed the white Captain America. We got Steve Rogers on the comics and the posters.
Yeah. I thought the scene afterwards as well, where
immediately after,
I didn't really think they were going to like properly lean into like the racial aspect, because we had the scene in the first episode with the loan, which you could see as like it's more subtle, like it's not like explicitly said. But in this one, essentially, Sam is having an argument with a 100-year-old super terrorist in the middle of the street.
And he's the one who gets stopped.
And he's the one, Bucky gets asked, like, are you okay, sir? Is this man bothering you? Because obviously Sam's a black man.
Yeah.
And I really didn't think they were going to be so like brazen about like the racial aspect, but I think it's like so good that they have. I think it makes it much more interesting. It's much more layered. And obviously it's important for them because it is like a bit like it's a real world issue, even though we're talking about a man who straps wings to his back.
Well, it just grounds it into a context that and a discussion that as a society we are very much in at the minute, which I thought was brilliant that they brought that up.
Yeah, it's written in such a smart way as well that it fits into the plot. It's not just thrown in there. It's part of the story, and it feels right, even in a world where we have these larger-than-life superheroes and gods, essentially. They've just... I know the writers said they were going to go down this route, and I didn't expect the Isaiah Bradley scene, but after it, I didn't expect another scene dealing with racial issues to come immediately afterward, and that scene just like really hammered it home to bring forth these issues and basically saying this show is going to deal with these issues, and we're going to do it in a way that really works within the universe we've created.
It never felt like heavy-handed. It's never, shoved down your throat. It just makes sense within, because we are very much in a time where that is relevant. So it felt it needed, really, in this story.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that like the way it's like portrayed is like if this can happen to a man who's literally, he's an Avenger, he's a superhero.
Yeah,
it still happens to him, then it happens to like all people of color. I just thought,
because that's the only reason they do back off, is because you're Falcon.
An event. They realize who he is, basically.
Yeah, and then so that's followed up by the therapy scene, where these two decide to go off on this mission, which leads us into
these.
Go on.
I love these therapy scenes.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to stick with it for much longer, but I really do enjoy them. I would watch like a 40-minute episode of them just in therapy together.
They're just so good together.
I didn't really like their bantering in that scene. I liked the way it paid off with Bucky's revelation about why he's so angry at Sam.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. It just felt, they again just felt antagonistic in that scene. It felt, at the moment, it feels like they're trying to force this sort of bromance between them, where they're like a buddy cop dynamic. When I wanted it to feel a bit more natural. In the
they are just barking at each other.
Yeah, they are literally back and forth. Yeah.
So then that leads into what will pay off next episode. The reveal that they're gonna go and find Zemo.
Yeah, I called it.
Boy.
I knew they were gonna team up with him in some way, and because he has all the information. If you want information, you go to Zemo, no matter what it is. And now everyone's interested in, like, will he escape? Will he accompany them somewhere, then escape?
I think they're going to break him out.
Yeah, how are they going to do it? Like, because obviously he's going to escape.
Yeah,
and just cause havoc, and that's another thing they'll have to deal with then. But maybe he's the mastermind behind it all. None of us would be surprised if he turned out to be pulling the strings from his cell in some way.
Yeah, like, that's what I was going to say. Do you think he in some way is involved with the Flag Smashers? Or is this just going to be a third villain?
I don't know. As soon as they get that like text, I assumed it was him. And then I was kind of like, I got too bought into my own idea, because I got kind of annoyed then, because I thought before the Zemo reveal, I was like, oh, maybe he's escaped, like, off camera, and they're just going to mention it later on that he's already escaped and we're not going to see it. So it annoyed me, because I thought, they're not doing the work. But then obviously you get the reveal later that he is there, and it might not be him. But I was like, I was calm again. I was like, good.
Yeah, I think the people who text her are the people I mentioned earlier, that power broker.
Power broker, yeah, that would make sense.
Seems more likely than being Zemo, unless he's got them under his thumb as well. You might have them all under his thumb, and the Flag Smashers might not even know that he started it. Something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
I've got this is my interesting theory, but I really would like to. I would be happy if the show went in this direction, but I can't imagine they would. But it involves Zemo, it involves John Walker. I just think it'd be really interesting if, Bucky, Sam, Battlestar, and John Walker seem like they've got this rivalry now. And it seems like on every mission now, they're going to bump heads and go to the same missions. I think it'd be really interesting if one of those missions, for some reason, it was Bucky and Sam's fault, that Battlestar dies or gets in the way, and so he dies that way. I think it would be a good way, if John Walker was going to become a villain, that they do it this way, because it would be nice to see him totally lose it. And I think to do this, they would need to have to kill off his friend, because obviously we really know what the parallels the parallels with Steve losing Bucky and the way he reacted to it, and he still kept headstrong. but I think John Walker would go the opposite way.
Yeah.
And I think Zemo escaping could play on this big time and manipulate John into becoming a villain, because that's what Zemo does best. Like turns people against each other. And I just think maybe if he could get John on his side, he could possibly give him the super soldier serum and then aim him right at Bucky and Sam. I would just love to see this gradual decline of the character in this way. And I don't even think it's that outlandish of an idea. I think it would work.
That would make sense. Yeah.
It's really similar basically to like the Dark Knight, isn't it? Like when the
pushing someone to their edge.
And in terms of like John Walker as well, if he's the new face of Captain America, it'd be like essentially trying to Zemo proving a point by like essentially corrupting the uncorruptible.
Yeah, the symbol.
Yeah, the symbol of peace. If he can turn the symbol of peace, then it reinforces his idea that superheroes just shouldn't exist.
Yeah,
because even then that number one symbol can be turned, then they all can.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that. I think it would be great. I don't know how the Flag Smashers could work into it. It would be nice if all the antagonists of the show could somehow all be in the same place. Yeah, interject. Yeah.
You brought up Battlestar, right? That was I thought the funniest moment of the show was when he says, "I'm Battlestar," and Bucky's just like, "Stop the car." This is ridiculous.
But even he looks like he thinks it's a stupid name.
Yeah. Like has he given himself that name, or is that?
No,
I thought that was really good.
I think it just comes with the idea that Captain America sort of had his own sidekick. So now they've just tried to make
exactly.
I'd be like, is that guy your friend?
I joked when we were watching it that he's just called Bucky. But yeah, Battlestar, and he's like, I've had enough of this shit. I'm getting out.
Yeah.
I really liked the moment. It was like a really small moment as well when they're fighting on top of those like trucks or whatever. When John Walker throws the shield and Bucky catches it and like throws it back at him or whatever, like he gives it back to him.
He just narrowly avoids being smacked right in the head with that shield, doesn't he?
Yeah. It just reminded me of Winter Soldier when he throws it when they're running across the roofs and he turns around and just grabs it.
Incredible.
I found some of the CGI in that fight scene a bit.
Yeah, I remember because they were saying they were bigging up these. It's same issue I had with WandaVision in the action because this is TV and they keep saying, "Oh, we're spending as much time and money on these visual effects as we are for the movies." And I was watching, I was like, I don't think you are.
Yeah, the two instances
looks fine,
is when Bucky's grabbing the bottom of the truck and Sam is flying next to him. That didn't look like he was even there. No. And when they make. I'm happy they did it. When they make Bucky run fast again, it looked a bit.
Oh yeah,
it looked like. Do you know the original Superman film where he runs alongside the train?
Yeah.
It just looked like that to me. I'm happy they're making him fast again because the Russo brothers hated him.
No, yeah, I remember that. It did look ridiculous.
Yeah, it looked bad.
They made him the slowest super soldier going.
Yeah,
it's sort of like how in Wonder Woman 1984, how they made her run. It just did look a bit. Have you not? It looked a bit too floaty. Like it just didn't look right.
It's like I saw something a few weeks ago of one of the Twilight. No, not Twilight. It's what are those other vampire films with like werewolves and stuff?
Underworld.
Underworld, and it's Michael Sheen. He's running behind a car, and the way they did it was they literally like just close a carpet in the boot of the car, drive it, and he's just on the carpet running with it down these like cobbled streets.
Masterpieces.
Like if he tripped, he would have fucking died. Like, there's no I don't know why. Like if no matter what they were paying me, if they were like, "Oh, can you do this?" I'm like, absolutely not. There is no way I'm doing that.
Practical filmmaking.
That's literally what it looked like.
Yeah. Should we rate this thing? I think I'm going to go with the same as last week. I'll give it an 8.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the same with last week again. I'm going to give it an 8.5. I was going to go for a 9, but then we haven't exactly seen much. But
I'm saving my 9 for when this gets like unreal.
But I just love what they're doing at the moment and all the John Walker stuff. He's such a he's such a complex character already. They've already built in one episode such a complex relationship with his character because you hate him, but you know deep down he's got these really human emotions and he's just like any of us. But everyone hates him. I just think that's a really nice relationship to have with a character, which we don't really see in many superhero things. To be honest, they're usually one note. So
now you've got the time for it, which Jack.
I'm going to be really boring and say 8.5 still. Again, same as my last one. Kind of the same reason. Like if this is going where I hope it's going, I'll be dropping 10s at some point. It's so
I'll be dropping 10s.
It's so good. I really love Bucky. I love them both, but Bucky, I don't know. I've always liked him in all the other films, and I feel like he hasn't really gotten his moments to shine. So I'm hoping he gets more in this. I think it's too soon to give it a 9 or higher. But I think
wait for when it gets really good. Yeah.
Realistically, who's listening to this and thinking, "Oh, I'm only giving it an 8.5"?
What this is shit.
8.5, no thanks.
At least they're being consistent so far. 2 episodes in, it's consistent.
Yeah, starting off high. I'm hoping that it doesn't dip. I'm hoping it continues on that. If it was an 8.5 all the way through, fine. That's still bloody amazing. But I want to give it that 9.
They go downhill when they somehow bring back the Tesseract will just show up. Bucky, we've got to travel through space, man. Zemo thinks he's Thanos with his purple mask.
Thanks as always for listening, guys. Make sure to head to Twitter and follow us at Keeping It Real UK if you're not already. From there, you can find links to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. We'd really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and rate wherever you can. Helps our show massively. We'll see you again on Wednesday for our top 10 most anticipated movies for the rest of 2021. Until then, have a great week and we'll see you again soon.